Albini, o minus slash listen, a Albani minus, Albanian, sh Kyperi or sh Kyperia, geg Albanian, sh Kipni or sh Kipnia also, sh Kipni or sh Kipnia 6 officially the Republic of Albania Albanian, Republika e sh Kyperis, pronounced Publika Sip is, is a country in Southeast Europe on the Adriatic and Ionian Sea within the Mediterranean Sea. It shares land borders with Montenegro to the northwest, Kosovo to the northeast, North Macedonia to the east, Greece to the south and maritime borders with Greece, Montenegro and Italy to the west. The flag of Albania Albanian, Flamerai ish Kyperis Italian, Bandiera Albanese, is a red flag with a silhouetted black double-headed eagle in the center. The red stands for bravery, strength and valor, while the double-headed eagle represents the sovereign state of Albania. The flag was established as the national flag of Albania when the country gained its independence from the Ottoman Empire in 1912. Others. Demonyms: Albanian Government, Unitary Parliamentary Constitutional Republic. President: Ilir. Prime Minister: Ide Remilgislocherkuvendi. Establishment History: Principality of Arbanan, 1190. Kingdom of Albania, February 1272. Princedom of Albania, 1368. League of Les, 2nd March 1444. Proclamation of Independence from the Ottoman Empire, 28 November 1912. Principality of Albania recognized, 29 July 1913. First Republic of Albania, 31st January 1925. Kingdom of Albania, 1st September 1928. Second Republic of Albania, 11th January 1946. Third Republic of Albania, 28th December 1976. Fourth Republic of Albania. Current Constitution, 29th April 1991. 28th November 1998. Area total: 28,748 kilometers to 11,100 sq mi 140 th. Water percent: 4.7. Population: January 2017 estimate: 2,876,591 1. 2011 census: 2,821,977 2. Density: 98 per kilometer to 253.8 sq mi 63 rdgdp 2020 estimate: total: $42.594 billion 3. Per capita: $14,866 3. GDP nominal 2020 estimate: total: $16.753 billion 3. Per capita: $5,847 3. Gini 2013 34.54. Medumdi 2018 0.7915. High.69 th. Current Silic all-time zone out +1 set. Summer D Street. +2 ses date format dd/mm/yai driving cider I calling code +355 ISO 3166 code DL internet tld.al. The country displays varied climatic, geological, hydrological and morphological conditions, defined in an area of 28,748 kilometers to 11,100 sq mi. It possesses remarkable diversity with the landscape ranging from the snow-capped mountains in the Albanian Alps as well as the Korab, Skanderbeg, Pindus and Sevonian mountains to the hot and sunny coasts of the Albanian Adriatic and Ionian Sea along the Mediterranean Sea. Historically, the country has been inhabited by numerous civilizations, such as the Illyrians, Thracians, ancient Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Venetians and Ottomans. The Albanians established the autonomous Principality of Arbor in the 12th century. The Kingdom of Albania and Principality of Albania formed between the 13th and 14th centuries. Prior to the Ottoman conquest of Albania in the 15th century, the Albanian resistance to Ottoman expansion into Europe led by Jurj Kastrioti Skanderbeg won them acclaim over most of Europe. Between the 18th and 19th centuries, Albanians gathered both spiritual and intellectual strength which conclusively led to the Albanian Renaissance. After the defeat of the Ottomans in the Balkan Wars, the modern nation-state of Albania declared independence in 1912. In the 20th century, the Kingdom of Albania was invaded by Italy, which formed Greater Albania before becoming a protectorate of Nazi Germany. 8 Enver Hoxha formed Communist Albania after the Second World War and launched the Albanians on a path of oppression and decades of isolation. The revolutions of 1991 concluded the fall of communism in Albania and eventually, the establishment of the current Republic of Albania. Politically, the country is a unitary parliamentary constitutional republic, and developing country with an upper-middle income economy dominated by the service sector, followed by manufacturing. 9 It went through a process of transition, following the end of communism in 1990, from centralized planning to a market-based economy. 10 11 12 Albania provides universal health care and free primary and secondary education to its citizens. 5 The country is a member of the United Nations, World Bank, UNESCO, NATO, WTO, OSCE and OAK. It is an official candidate for membership in the European Union. 13 It is one of the founding members of the Energy Community, including the Organization of the Black Sea Economic Cooperation and Union for the Mediterranean. The incorporated territory of Albania was historically inhabited by Indo-European peoples, such as the ancient Greeks, Thracians and diverse Illyrian tribes. There is no evidence that Illyrian tribes used any collective nomenclature for themselves, while it is regarded to be unlikely that they used a common endonym. 28 The endonym Illyrians seems to be the name applied to a specific Illyrian tribe which was the first to come in liaison with the ancient Greeks, resulting the endonym Illyrians to be applied pars pro toto to all people of similar language and customs. 29-30 The territory referred to as Illyria corresponded roughly to the area east of the Adriatic Sea in the Mediterranean Sea, extending in the south to the mouth of the Vihose. 31-32 The first account of the Illyrian groups comes from Periplus of the Euxine Sea, an ancient Greek text written in the middle of the 4th century BC. 33 The west was inhabited by the Thracian tribe of the Bryges, while the south was inhabited by the Greek tribe of the Chaonians, whose capital was at Phoenix. 34 Colonies such as Apollonia, Epidamnos and Amantia were established by Greek city-states on the coast by the 7th century BC. 35 The Illyrian Ardii tribe, centered in Montenegro, ruled over much of Albania. The Ardaian kingdom reached its greatest extent under Agron, son of Pleuratus II. Agron extended his rule over other neighboring tribes as well. 36 After Agron's death in 230 BC, his wife Toyuta inherited the Ardaian kingdom. Toyuta's forces extended their operations further southward to the Ionian Sea. 37 In 229 BC, Rome declared war. 38 On the kingdom for extensively plundering Roman ships. The war ended in Illyrian defeat in 227 BC. Toyuta was eventually succeeded by Gentius in 181 BC. 39 Gentius clashed with the Romans in 168 BC, initiating the Third Illyrian War. The conflict resulted in Roman conquest of the region by 167 BC. The Rhenia is the medieval Latin name of the country. It may be derived from the Illyrian tribe of Albani Albanian, Albanet, recorded by Ptolemy, the geographer and astronomer from Alexandria, who drafted a map in 150 AD which shows the city of Albanopolis located northeast of Dors. 1415 The term may have a continuation in the name of a medieval settlement called Albanan or Arbanan, although it is not certain that this was the same place. 16 In his history written in the 10th century, the Byzantine historian Michael Ataliates was the first to refer to Albanoi as having taken part in a revolt against Constantinople in 1043, and to the Arbanatai as subjects of the Duke of Dyrrhachium. 17 During the Middle Ages, the Albanians called their country Arbari or Arbeni and referred to themselves as Arbaresh or Arbnish. 1819 Nowadays, Albanians call their country Sh Kaiperi or Sh Kaiperia. The words Sh Kaiperi and Sh Kipter are attested, from 14th century onward. 20, but it was only at the end of 17th, and beginning of the early 18th centuries that the place name Sh Kaiperia and the ethnic demonym Sh Kiptari, gradually replaced Arbaria and Arbaresh amongst Albanian speakers. 2021 The two terms are popularly interpreted as Land of the Eagles and Children of the Eagles. 22-23 The first attested traces of Neanderthal presence in the territory of Albania dates back to the Middle and Upper Paleolithic period, and were discovered in Zare and at Mount Dat in the adjacent region of Tirana. 24 Archaeological sites from this period include the Kamenika tumulus, Konis Pole Cave and Pelumbas Cave. The discovered objects in a cave near Zaire include flint and jasper objects along with fossilized animal bones, while those discoveries at Mount Dag comprise bone and stone tools similar to those of the Aurignacian culture. They also demonstrate notable similarities with objects of the equivalent period found at Crvena Stijena in Montenegro and northwestern Greece. 24. Multiple artifacts from the Iron and Bronze Ages near tumulus burials have been unearthed in central and southern Albania, which has similar affinity with the sites in southwestern Macedonia and Lefkada. Archaeologists have come to the conclusion that these regions were inhabited from the middle of the 3rd millennium BC by Indo-European people who spoke a Proto-Greek language. Hence, a part of this historical population later moved to Mycenae around 1600 BC and properly established the Mycenaean civilization. Empire was split in 395 upon the death of Theodosius I into an Eastern and Western Roman Empire, in part because of the increasing pressure from threats during the barbarian invasions. From the 6th century into the 7th century, the Slavs crossed the Danube and largely absorbed the indigenous ancient Greeks, Illyrians and Thracians in the Balkans. Thus, the Illyrians were mentioned for the last time in historical records in the 7th century 41-42. In the 11th century, the Great Schism formalized the break of communion between the Eastern Orthodox and Western Catholic Church that is reflected in Albania through the emergence of a Catholic North and Orthodox South. The Albanian people inhabited the west of Lake Ochrida and the upper valley of River Shkumbin and established the Principality of Arbanon in 1190 under the leadership of Progan of Kruja. 43. The realm was succeeded by his sons Jin and Dimitri. Upon the death of Dimitar, the territory came under the rule of the Albanian Greek Gregory Komonas and subsequently, under the Golem of Kruja. 44, 45, 46. In the 13th century, the principality was dissolved. 47, 48, 49. Arbanon is considered to be the first sketch of an Albanian state that retained a semi-autonomous status as the western extremity of the Byzantine Empire, under the Byzantine Doukai of Ypres or Lascarids of Nikai. 50. A relief of the Scola degli Albanesi commemorating the siege of Shkodra. It illustrates Sultan Mehmet II laying siege to the Albanian town of Scutari, then part of Venetian Empire. Towards the end of the 12th and beginning of the 13th centuries, Serbs and Venetians started to take possession over the territory. 51. The ethnogenesis of the Albanians is uncertain. However, the first undisputed mention of Albanians dates back in historical records from 1079 or 1080 in a work by Michael A. Toliates, who referred to the Albanoi as having taken part in a revolt against Constantinople. 52. At this point, the Albanians were fully Christianized. Few years after the dissolution of Arbanon, Charles of Anjou concluded an agreement with the Albanian rulers, promising to protect them and their ancient liberties. In 1272, he established the Kingdom of Albania and conquered regions back from the Despotate of Ypres. The kingdom claimed all of central Albania territory from Dyrhachium along the Adriatic Sea coast down to Butrint. A Catholic political structure was a basis for the papal plans of spreading Catholicism in the Balkan Peninsula. This plan found also the support of Helen of Anjou, a cousin of Charles of Anjou. Around 30 Catholic churches and monasteries were built during her rule, mainly in northern Albania. 53. Internal power struggles within the Byzantine Empire in the 14th century enabled Serbs' most powerful medieval ruler, Stefan Dusan, to establish a short-lived empire that included all of Albania except Rs. 51. In 1367, various Albanian rulers established the Despotate of Arta. During that time, several Albanian principalities were created, notably the Balsha, Thopia, Castrioti, Muzaka and Arianidi. In the first half of the 14th century, the Ottoman Empire invaded most of Albania, and the League of Les was held, under Skanderbeg as a ruler, who became the national hero of the Albanian medieval history. Ottoman Empire. Main article, Albania under the Ottoman Empire. See also, Albanian rebellion against the Ottoman Empire. Further information, League of Les. After serving the Ottoman Empire for nearly 20 years, Jurj Castrioti Skanderbeg deserted and began a rebellion against the empire, that halted Ottoman advance into Europe for 25 years. With the fall of Constantinople, the Ottoman Empire continued an extended period of conquest and expansion with its borders going deep into Southeast Europe. They reached the Albanian Ionian Sea coast in 1385, and erected their garrisons across southern Albania in 1415 and then occupied most of Albania in 1431–54–55. Thousands of Albanians consequently fled to Western Europe, particularly to Calabria, Naples, Ragusa and Sicily, whereby others sought protection at the often inaccessible mountains of Albania. 56–57. The Albanians, as Christians, were considered as an inferior class of people, and as such they were subjected to heavy taxes, among others by the devshirme system, that allowed the Sultan to collect a requisite percentage of Christian adolescents from their families to compose the Janissary. 58. The Ottoman Sea conquest was also accompanied with the gradual process of Islamization and the rapid construction of mosques, which consequently modified the religious picture of Albania. A prosperous and long-standing revolution erupted after the formation of the Assembly of Lezhë until the siege of Shkodër under the leadership of Jurj Kastrioti Skanderbeg, multiple times defeating major Ottoman armies led by Sultans Murad II and Mehmed II. Skanderbeg managed to gather several of the Albanian principles, amongst them the Arianites, Dukajanis, Zahirias and Thopias, and establish a centralized authority over most of the non-conquered territories, becoming the Lord of Albania. 59. Skanderbeg consistently pursued the goal relentlessly but rather unsuccessfully to constitute a European coalition against the Ottomans. He thwarted every attempt by the Ottomans to regain Albania, which they envisioned as a springboard for the invasion of Italy and Western Europe. His unequal fight against them won the esteem of Europe also, among others financial and military aid from the papacy and Naples, Venice and Ragusa. 60. Ali Pasha Tapalena was a powerful autonomous, Ottoman Albanian ruler who governed over the Pashalik of Yanina. When the Ottomans were gaining a firm foothold in the region, Albanian towns were organized into four principal sanjaks. The government fostered trade by settling a sizable Jewish colony of refugees fleeing persecution in Spain. The city of Vlorë saw passing through its ports imported merchandise from Europe such as velvets, cotton goods, mohairs, carpets, spices and leather from Bursa and Constantinople. Some citizens of Vlorë even had business associates throughout Europe. 61. The phenomenon of Islamization among the Albanians became primarily widespread from the 17th century and continued into the 18th century. 62. Islam offered them equal opportunities and advancement within the Ottoman Empire. However, motives for conversion were, according to some scholars, diverse depending on the context, though the lack of source material does not help when investigating such issues. 62. Because of increasing suppression of Catholicism, mostly Catholic Albanians converted in the 17th century, while Orthodox Albanians followed suit mainly in the following century. Since the Albanians were seen as strategically important, they made up a significant proportion of the Ottoman military and bureaucracy. A couple of Muslim Albanians attained important political and military positions who culturally contributed to the broader Muslim world. 62. Enjoying this privileged position, they held various high administrative positions with over 24 Albanian Grand Viziers, among others members of the prominent Kaprulu F. Amili, Zagan Pasha, Muhammad Ali of Egypt and Ali Pasha of Tapalena. However, two sultans such as Bayezid II and Mehmed III had both mothers of Albanian origin. 61. 63. 64. Rylinia. Main article, Albanian Renaissance. See also, League of Prizren. Nam Vekil Harksi was among the most important figures of the early national Renaissance. The Albanian Renaissance was a period with its roots in the late 18th century, and continuing into the 19th century, during which the Albanian people gathered spiritual and intellectual strength for an independent cultural and political life within an independent nation. Modern Albanian culture flourished too, especially Albanian literature and arts, and was frequently linked to the influences of the Romanticism and Enlightenment principles. 65. Prior to the rise of nationalism, Albania was under the rule of the Ottoman Empire for almost 5 centuries, and Ottoman authorities suppressed any expression of national unity or conscience by the Albanian people. Through literature, Albanians started to make a conscious effort to awaken feelings of pride and unity among their people that would call to mind the rich history and hopes for a more decent future. The victory of Russia over the Ottoman Empire following the Russian-Ottoman Wars resulted the execution of the Treaty of San Stefano, which overlooked to assign Albanian populated lands to the Slavic and Greek neighbors. However, the United Kingdom and Austro-Hungarian Empire consequently blocked the arrangement and caused the Treaty of Berlin. From this point, Albanians started to organize themselves with the goal to protect and unite the Albanian populated lands into an unitary nation, leading to the formation of the League of Prizren. Dora D'Istria was among the main advocates in Europe for the Albanian cause. 66. The League had initially the assistance of the Ottoman authorities, whose position was based on the religious solidarity solidarity of Muslim people and landlords connected with the Ottoman administration. They favored and protected the Muslim solidarity, and called for defense of Muslim lands, simultaneously constituting the reason for titling the League Committee of the Real Muslims. 67. Approximately 300 Muslims participated in the assembly, composed by delegates from Bosnia, the administrator of the Sanjak of Prizren as representatives of the central authorities, and no delegates from Vilayet of Scutari. 68. Check quotation syntax. Signed by only 47 Muslim deputies, the League issued T. Hikarer name that contained a proclamation that the people from northern Albania, Ypres and Bosnia and Herzegovina are willing to defend the territorial integrity of the Ottoman Empire by all possible means against the troops of Bulgaria, Serbia and Montenegro. 69. Ottoman's authorities cancelled their assistance when the League, under Abdul Frasheri, became focused on working toward Albanian autonomy, and requested merging 4 vilayets, including Kosovo. Sh. Coder.